Morning guys, it's Thursday morning and I'm heading east today, so I thought I'd bring you along. I don't normally go along to the east of Malaga much. It's quite nice along there. The coastline's a little bit more rugged, a bit less developed, and so I thought I'd bring you along and show you how it is. We're just leaving the farm now, and I'll just show you a few bits of the journey. Obviously I won't do the whole journey over there. It takes about an hour and a bit to get along to where I'm going to. But I'll just show you a few sort of highlight parts. Okay guys, speak to you soon. Okay, we're on the way into Coín, which is the closest village to where I live. We live about 10 kilometers outside Coín, and it's a really good road. Very, very popular road with motorcyclists at the weekend, and a lot of car testing on this road. So it's a really easy drive into town. So I'll put the camera back on when we're driving through, and you can see what it's like in Coín. Okay, so we're coming into Coín. We're on the west end of Coín, so if you turn right at this roundabout, you can go down to the coast of Marbella. We're coming into the town itself. We're really lucky now in Coín. It's kind of a small town. It's become a small town. So we've got the three main supermarkets. We've got another smaller supermarket up. Just in this area here, a few bars have opened up. So the west end of Coín now has its own kind of bars. Some are just open in the morning for breakfast, and some don't open in the morning, but they do open in the afternoon for food and for drinks in the evening. So this end of Coín, which didn't used to be very, very popular, it's become a lot more popular now. So we have a lot of choice. We can also go into the old village itself, which is on our right. So the main town square is up on our right. And we're going to come up to a roundabout up here in a moment, which you can turn to the right and go into the village itself. There's a couple of underground car parks in there, so plenty of parking if you want to go in and do anything. We're kind of going around the ring road, around the village itself, around the small town, because we're heading out to the east to get onto the motorway. To go around the back of Malaga, we're going to go on the new motorway, which has been open about a year, which goes right around the back of Malaga now, so you don't have to go along the coast road. And carry on to the east of Malaga itself. Pretty much everything you need here. Very few things that you have to go anywhere else to get. A steel supplier on one side of the road and a husky supplier on the other side of the road, so we've got that covered, although they don't cover much stock, but they do get everything in pretty quickly when you need it. Aldi supermarket, Lidl supermarket, Mercadona supermarket, all on this ring road. In Spain are quite important for them. They always use the roundabout to make a statement about what used to go on area. So that last roundabout had all the millstones from the old olive mill that used to be there. And then this area called El Rodeo has all, just 1 year ago, just been completely refurbished. So new road, new pavements, new cycle way. They've just put this fountain in, you can see in front here in the centre of the road. So they've really tidied this up. This was kind of the new end of Coín, which grew up and had very little sort of soul. And so they've planted all these lovely palm trees, designed these lights that look the same as the palm trees, got the same kind of feeling. Just the other side of the very low hedge here on the right hand side, there's a blue cycleway, so you can cycle along, and it's made it much more pleasant down this end. So consequently, a lot new kind of bars and restaurants have opened up. On the left hand side here, there's a brand new traditional ice cream shop, sells amazing ice cream. So yeah, this end of town's really improved. It's become a lot more attractive. And up here in the shopping centre, there's a sports centre with a gym and like a wellness centre with a spa and everything else. And so people are really encouraged to use this walkway and cycleway. People that use the gym use it for walking, coming out, walking, jogging, cycling. And then on our right hand side, just up here, the very last part of the work to be finished is going to be a park. So there's going to be like a kids park created with equipment for the kids and soft play area and all that type of thing. So that's going to be just up here on the right hand side where they're clearing the land now. So this entrance just here, and this land on the right hand side that's been cleared or being cleared, it's going to be a park. So that's kind of the last part of the work they're going to do. And on the left hand side here is the big shopping centre, La Trocha, parking underneath, Sunday market there, and that has on the far end, on the left hand end, that has the gym and the spa underneath and a cinema above, multi-screen cinema. And then just down here on the left hand side we have the organic market, which we have every Sunday. All the local growers bring their produce, so it's like a farmer's market. You can go there and get all your local fruit, vegetables, people making cheese, making their own meats, chorizo and different meats. So it's quite a nice thing to do on a Sunday, to wander down there, a few bites to eat and get some shopping. Okay, we're coming onto the motorway, which isn't the most interesting, so I'll bring you back when we've got some more interesting things to see. Just from the top of the hill here on the new motorway, you get a very nice view of the hills in front, and this is looking down into the Guadalhorce Valley, where the Guadalhorce River is at the bottom, so you can see it's pretty green down at the bottom there. And the hill over to the left of us, the kind of square looking hill with the antennas on the top, that whole hill, both sides, the whole thing, which is above the village of Pidara, belongs to one man. He belongs to an old gentleman. He's around 82 now. He lives in Malaga in the city, and he owns that whole hill. And once a year they have a huge celebration. The big house is on the opposite side of the hill to us, on the north side of the hill. We're looking at the south side, and he pays for the whole village to come up to the big house, and they have huge celebration there, food and drink and everything. So he's quite a character, the guy that owns that. I don't know what will happen when he passes away. I don't think he's got any family members left, so I guess it will go to the government. I don't know. It's yeah, crazy really. One guy owns that whole, it's not a mountain, but it's a very big hill, and he owns the whole thing. This road's been finished about, I guess it's getting on for a year now. It links Coín to the Malaga motorway. motorway. We used to have to drive through to Córdoba to get on the motorway at Córdoba, but now we come straight out. So this has saved my wife Lisa, saves her about 15 minutes on her journey to work every day and home as well. So she saves half an hour a day, and makes the journey much nicer, particularly if we do have rain, because the other road to Córdoba was an old road, quite slippery, and there was always accidents going on. Nothing serious, but accidents going on, particularly at night time if it was raining. So it wasn't the best journey really in the winter time. Not that we get much rain, but now it makes life very, very easy. We're straight out onto the motorway, and then further down here we join the new motorway to East of Malaga, so we don't have to drive through all the traffic around Malaga as well, around the city. Okay, I'll bring you along in a minute. Okay guys, we're on the new motorway now. I stopped to get some diesel, so I spared you that. And now we're on this new motorway that goes around the back of Malaga, so it saves having to get involved in all the traffic around the capital city. It's always very busy, any time of year it's busy, so we're going on the motorway that you don't pay for. You can see on the sign just coming here, there's a new motorway now that goes up to Granada and Córdoba, which is much quicker than the old road that we used to have, and that you have to pay for. Unfortunately it's more expensive in the summer. They really hammer the tourists when the tourists come, so they like double the price in the summer really to use the toll roads, all of the toll roads. But if you have a system with your bank, which if you have a Spanish bank, you can have a tag on your windscreen, and you drive through the electronic gate at the tolls, and the money is direct debited from your bank account. So you just drive through the toll, and it registers your passing, and it just bills your bank account. And if you have this system, it's the same price all year. It's cheap all year, so it's much better to have that. If you use the motorway a lot, it's much better to have that system, and then you pay the cheap price all year, and it just gets taken out of your bank account, so you don't have to mess around with cards and money when you go through the tolls on the motorways. I used to have that in my car. I used to drive around Spain a lot, go up to the north and go into France when I was working, doing something that needed me to travel a lot. But now I don't travel so much, and I don't use the motorways that you have to pay for so much, so I don't have that system in this car. But it's a good system. If you're using the motorway a lot, it really saves a lot of hassle and saves a lot of money. So this motorway brings us right around, and as we start to drop down now, we're on the kind of the top of the hill. As you start to drop down, you'll start to see the sea a little bit, although it's quite misty today. Usually it means it's going to be a hot day. If you get the mist in the morning, it usually means it's going to be a hot day. GoPro updated the app that works between your phone and your GoPro 5, which I was really unhappy with when I first got the GoPro. But now the app works really well, and it means that you can control your GoPro with your phone. So for instance, now when I've got the camera on the dashboard, I can just control it off the phone. I can see what it's recording, and I can switch it on and off without having to reach onto the dashboard and move around. So that's really good. That's much better. It'll be much better for, well, when you've got the camera mounted in your helmet, if you're doing chainsaw work or whatever, you can really control the camera from the phone, so it's easy to see what it's showing, if it's showing what you want it to show, and also you're able to switch it on and off and control it from there. So Yeah, much better, working much better. It was a bit of a frustration to set it up this morning, but now it's set up, it seems to be working really well and much better than it used to operate. So we're coming round the back of Malaga now, as we come down to the bottom here. We're going to stay in the left-hand lanes and continue along the coast. But the two right-hand lanes drop down and then they go up. This is the old road up to Granada and Cordoba before they built the new motorway. So you used to have to go this way, which is quite narrow, and they have a lot of speed restrictions on the road because there's a lot of bends, and there's a few tunnels on the way up there as well. So they really restrict the speed on that road. To go through a tunnel here. I will switch you guys off and I'll bring you back on when there's something more interesting to see. Okay guys, we're getting along to the east of Malaga now. You'll see on either side of the motorway it's very agricultural and mostly avocados in this area. The soil is poor, quite stony and steep, and that's exactly what avocados like. They like a lot of water to be delivered to them, but they don't like to sit in water. They need land that drains. So the soil and the land that's needed for avocados is very, very similar to the soil that's needed for vines, for wine production. So you'll see in this area the soil's very stony. You can see at the side of the motorway here, and it drains really well. And there's plenty of water in the area to irrigate. So avocado trees need 11 litres per day of water, but they can't sit in that water. It needs to drain away. So for that reason, this area is very, very popular for avocado growing. Also for mangoes. They grow a lot of mangoes in this area. It means that there's very little construction, because the farmers are able to make more money from the avocado production. So, you know, a lot of the coastline's been ruined down here because it was much better for farmers or for landowners to develop the land, make much more money. And the farmers in this area are able to make good money from the avocados, and so they're not interested in development. They're more interested in keeping the land for farming. Coming up ahead of us, when we get under the bridge just on the left hand side of the motorway, is Malaga. I used to live over here years ago, about 12 years ago now, and this is the old capital of Malaga. So the new, in inverted commas, capital of Malaga is Malaga city itself, the port of Malaga, which we drove around earlier. But Malaga is the old capital. So when the Romans were here, before that, when the whole area was ruled by Islamic rulers, Malaga was the capital, and that's simply because of the ability to produce fruit and vegetables in this area, a very productive area, and so they chose it as the main area for the main city. Nowadays it's still a very, very busy town, focused on agriculture, but it's not it's not really well connected to anything in the same way as Malaga city is. So it doesn't make sense for it to be the capital city now. So we're continuing east. We're kind of following the coastline. We're about 3 kilometres in from the coastline. The motorway just follows the coastline along. Get around this corner up here, you'll see a big golf course on the right hand side. So living in this area, you've got countryside, but you've also got all the amenities of the coastline. Nice beaches. The beaches are much more natural along here, less developed, very natural environment along the beaches. So people who like that kind of environment would much rather live on the east of Malaga than the west of Malaga, where everything's developed, and although you have more facilities, it's much busier, and not everybody likes that. Some people like to be in a more peaceful environment, even though they're close to the sea. Okay because this area is so popular for growing avocados, it's a much better area to buy your avocado trees. And there's two specialist growers in Malaga that are well known for the quality of their avocado trees. So I'm hoping on the way back to call in there, depending on the time, and look at some avocado trees, because I want to plant some more avocado trees in October, and for that I want to have a look at the avocado trees now. So hopefully on the way back I'm going to be calling into the nurseries, and we'll take a look at the avocado trees that we're going to buy for planting in October. So let's see. A few tunnels along here. It's quite mountain. Well, excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's not mountainous, but it's quite hilly. So as soon as you leave the coastline, when I come back from where I'm going to Frigiliana, when I come back we'll come along the coast road, and I'll show you what it's like down on the coast. As you can see that the hills come all the way down to the coastline, and the road just kind of hugs the bottom of the hills, between the hills and the sea. One thing the Spanish are pretty good at is building roads and tunnels and bridges, so their motorway network is very, very good, and it's very easy to get from one place to another, and not too much pressure on the roads in terms of traffic. I mean, obviously big urbanizations like Madrid, Barcelona, you know, for us around Malaga, it gets busier, busy times, but nothing really serious. You know, I went back to the UK earlier this year for a wedding, and it was shocking, to be honest with you. The motorways was just ridiculous. The speed you're able to maintain, and the traffic and the hold-ups and everything is just terrible. I don't know how people put up with it. So here, you know, if you leave, if it normally takes you an hour, if it normally takes you 2 hours, if it normally takes you 3 hours to get to somewhere, that's pretty much what it takes. Very unusual for you to get held up too much or whatever. I think this is where we go off. Yeah, it is. Okay. I'm not really familiar with this area along here, this far east. I know the area around Malaga, which we passed about 10-15 minutes ago, pretty well. But I'm not so familiar with this area. Nerja is very, very popular with tourists. It really is a tourist town, so people don't really live in Nerja. They kind of live on the outskirts of it, but it's really touristy. Not much infrastructure actually in the town itself, so not my cup of tea, let's say. But yeah, lovely area, very nice beaches down here. If you're coming on holiday, it's a lovely place to come. A lot of people only ever come here to Nerja. It's very easy, you can fly into Malaga and get a really good coach along here. So you don't have to hire a car. A lot of people do that, they come along in a coach and then they just stay in Nerja. But we're not going down to the coast now. Nerja is to our right, down on the coast. We're going to head inland up to Frigiliana. And my appointments are up there this morning, so we will see how we get on. But I think you can see here, when we turn left, we're going to go back over the motorway, and you can see that immediately here it becomes quite hilly straight away. So unfortunately a lot of people come here on holiday, and they either just go themselves or they're delivered to their hotel on the coast, and they don't come back, you know, literally 5 kilometers back from the coast, and you've got all these beautiful hills and rivers, lakes, all this beautiful stuff in the countryside, and they just don't see it. They stay down on the coast and they see the beach, and there's stuff down there with all the other people that are on holiday as well. It's a shame, really, it's a shame, because it's very beautiful just back here, and Spanish life continues, you know, 10 kilometers in from the coastline. Spanish life continues all year round. in the normal way. There isn't the rush of people and the terrible trouble with parking and everything else that you get during the tourist season. So as you see, the road, you know, good road now. We're only on a secondary road. It's heading up into the mountains. And we're going out to Frigiliana, which is quite a little village. I guess about 5 minutes from here where we are now. And then once we get there, I'll have to take a look at my the dreaded Google map and see where we need to go to. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying the little journey along here to the east. Most of the other videos I've done have been going to the west or going inland. So I think this is the first time I've done a video along here, coming in this direction. So you get to see you know, different kind of land, different kind of terrain. Excuse me, I'll have to answer that. Hello, good morning.
Hola, buenos días.
Hola, buenos días.
Mira, eres Tim, ¿no?
Sí.
Mira, yo soy Carlos Solano, te llamo de Caja Sur, en Alurín, en el
Ah, sí, para la hipoteca de David, ¿no?
Eso es.
Sí. Okay guys, well we're in Frigiliana now, and it looks like it's Feria time, and the town centre is blocked off, so we're going to stop somewhere and we'll take a look at our Googleism and see where we need to go to. That was a phone call from one of the guys at the bank. I'm trying to help a couple of people with to obtain their mortgages at the moment for their houses. So I was just talking to him about that situation. I think we'll stop over here, or we could actually park over here perhaps. Yeah, let's park here. Okay guys, we're on the coast road now, so we're, instead of coming back on the motorway, I'm just going to bring you along from Nerja back along to our side, to Malaga, but on the coast road. So you'll get a little bit of a different aspect. Obviously we're going to follow the sea, so we're following the Mediterranean Sea, where the hills come down to meet the sea. This used to be the only road, years and years ago, this used to be the only road you could use to come along the coast, but now of course we have the motorway, so this road is much quieter. People just accessing the hotels and the beaches that are along here, and the villages that are along the coast. So we're about 3 kilometres away from the motorway that we drove along this morning to the south, and following the coast along, and in a moment we'll literally be right against the Mediterranean. Sea's very, very flat today. no wind. Perfect if you've got a boat, or obviously not a sailing boat, but if you've got any kind of motorboat. So it's quite a nice drive along here. Coming towards the end of August, so things are calming down a little bit for the holiday makers. The next week or so will really quieten down as everybody starts to go back to work and kids go back to school. Coming along to Torres Costa. Some of the little beach bars you see on the beach, some of them are restaurants, but some of them are classed as chiringuitos, and chiringuitos are really like just a summer restaurant. So they're only allowed to be open, they only have a license for so many months of the year. They can choose when they open and when they close, but they can't stay open all year. Whereas if you're a restaurant or restaurante here, then you can be open all year. So some of the chiringuitos are temporary. So they'll just erect a wooden restaurant, a wooden chiringuito on the beach, and that will be there during the summer season, and then they'll take it back down when they close, and there'll be nothing there in the winter. So you can see we're right against the sea here. And as I mentioned earlier, this coast is much more natural than the coast on the west of Malaga. So, you know, it's more rocky. If you like diving, if you like snorkeling, if you just like to paddle around in rock pools, things much nicer this side. You see the sand on this side is a much darker colour, and a lot of the beaches are stony. I actually quite prefer to go to a stony beach. You don't get the sand blowing around, and it's usually much cleaner. Now here's a busier beach. So most of these people you see on the beach here will be Spanish. You see they have all their own umbrellas and their own chairs and their own equipment. So they bring all this down and put it on the beach, and the whole family comes down. Little restaurants here on the beach. And then there's some of the restaurants have their own little beaches, and they have permanent sunbeds, what they call hamacas, and parasols, and you rent them by the day. And it's normally about €10 per day to have 2 hamacas and a parasol with a little table. So I mean, you know, it's no money, and it makes it a nicer experience coming down to the beach. Obviously some of the nicer beach bars and private beaches have day beds and have really nice beds to lay on, but obviously you pay more money for that, so you can really choose the type of thing you want to have. So now we're coming into Torres Costa. very, very popular with Germans, Torre Costa. It's a very popular destination for German families to come on holiday. Very well known in Germany, so a lot of the facilities here, you know, you go into the banks, chemists, a lot of them will speak German, just because there's so many German tourists. Just like in Frigiliana, which is on the west side of Malaga, you have a lot of Scandinavians. So a lot of the facilities there, they'll speak Swedish or Norwegian or Finnish. So, you know, people adapt to what the popular languages are. When Lisa and I first came to Spain, when we were deciding if this was going to be the place we moved to, we rented an apartment on the other side of Torre Costa, which was in a place called Avocado. And we stayed there for a few months, drove around to decide whether this was going to be the place we wanted to move to, and where we were going to want to live. The coast road's busier and it takes longer than the motorway to come along this way, but I'm not under time pressure this afternoon, so I thought I'd bring you guys along and show you what it's like along the coast here. Big blocks of apartments on our left hand side, so a lot of people, Germans, Spanish, they will own these apartments just as holiday apartments and come here whenever they want to during the year, and the rest of the time it's very, very easy to rent these apartments out because it's such a popular area. So it's a good investment for people. Little 1 bed, 2 bed, maybe a 3 bed apartment, and yeah, the apartment will pay for itself. Easy to get out. Okay guys, sorry we had a brief intermission there where battery ran out, so we're just coming into Torre del Mar. This is a really nice little seaside town. Really, most of the apartments here, holiday apartments, are owned by Spanish, and Spanish families come down from Madrid and inland to be here for the month of August and spend their time here in Torre del Mar. Really a very, very nice little seaside town. Nice feeling, very relaxed. And Torre del Mar is kind of in competition with Malaga, the big town that we drove by on the motorway earlier on. So they spend a lot of money on their roads and their palm trees and keeping everything looking really, really nice. So the town always looks really smart. Always looks really, really nice. So we're just coming along the bottom road. A few years ago, which is unfortunately was a bit of a white elephant, they put a tram in at great expense, and the tram goes from Torre del Mar up to Malaga, to the centre of Malaga, so people from Malaga could come down on the tram and go to the beach and use Torre del Mar. But you know, it was a stupid idea. There's very, very good roads down from Malaga down here. There's plenty of parking, so there's no reason why people wouldn't drive down in their cars. It just didn't work. So they've spent countless millions on putting the tram lines in and creating the train stations at each end, and everything else, and it really hasn't worked out. There's some kind of directive to try and get it going again, and try and rekindle interest in it. But I think, if I'm right in saying, Malaga sold off some of the trams, either to Austria or to Switzerland or somewhere, because they were the very latest type of trams, and they sold them off. So I believe they haven't got the rolling stock that they had here, but I hope they get it working. It was quite unusual thing, let's say, to have, and took you right from the centre of Torre del Mar down here up into the centre of Malaga. Also stopped right outside the hospital, so people could take it and go up to the hospital and come from the hospital either up to Malaga or down to Torre del Mar. So some of the ideas they had were sound and others were not. As per usual in Spain, things don't necessarily get thought through completely. But you see how pretty it is here, and I've spent quite a bit of time here. This is the main station, so the trams used to come in here and they turn around and then they head back up. So they created this plaza here for the tram, for people to wait around and catch the tram. Yeah, I hope they get it going again. It's always just kind of a steady hum down here. Never gets too busy, but even if you come down here in the winter, there's always people around. And just here to our left, as we come along here, this is a paseo, which is all pedestrianised, so lots of bars and restaurants, ice cream parlours, everything down there, so it's a popular area. It's 1:30 now, so people are starting to think about going for their lunch. Moving around. Quite nice cafes along here, good coffee shops. But it still retains its character. Still a nice little seaside town. along here. They redid this not so long ago and put all these nice palm trees in the centre of the road, created these central islands, so making it look very attractive. Market day today, so all the small streets off to the left of us got the market stalls. Torre del Mar has a really excellent market, really excellent. Some of the markets here are just like tacked, stuff you wouldn't want to buy, but the Torre del Mar market has some really nice stuff. A lot of handmade, artisanal things for sale, and good clothing. Yeah, it's really worth a visit. Whenever we have guests come and stay with us, we usually come along to the market here and spend the morning and then go and have something to eat on the beach. Oh, it's a nice area. So we're coming out the other side of the town now. Supermarkets here on our left hand side, Mercadona. There's another supermarket at the back of Torre del Mar, so they have two Mercadonas. And all these apartments on the left hand side are really new, and there's still going to be more blocks built. Again, it's a lot of it's holiday apartments. Drive along here for about another couple of kilometres. I've got some friends that live in Almiate, which is a village just along here, so I'm going to go up and see them while I'm here in this area, have a cup of tea. We're probably between 500 and 800 metres from the beach here, and between the road and the beach is completely agricultural, so there's no development whatsoever. All of this is very flat land, and it's like a market garden. They're all growing vegetables. So very flat, very fertile land. And like I said earlier on, this is worth more to the farmers to have this land than it is for them to sell the land for development. They're growing whatever crops they're growing here. So a very different feeling on the coast along to the east of Malaga than on the west. On the west you've got, you know, just everything is developed all the way down to the water's edge. Because that was allowed to happen in the 60s and the 70s, even the 80s. Very little urban planning. So the coast got overdeveloped, heavily overdeveloped. But this side's still very natural